and we are grateful to you. For those who don't know, Mr. Swana is also a advisory board a board advisory of the club. Thank you very much and welcome to this lecture. For everyone, those who are Facebook Live and those who are entering the room, you're welcome to this bi-monthly Zoom leadership lecture, or the topic of how to find your purpose in life. Please note that once again, we are live on More Life Radio. Please just log into More Life, and that's where you'll find us live on this incredible topic. A lot of people are struggling to find their purpose in life, and this is why this topic has come about. There's always been a challenge when speakers are talking. It almost becomes a rhetoric that they always tell us the same thing, that find your purpose in life, polish it and serve it to the world. But it is difficult to find what your purpose is in life. And it almost goes with the same question that people normally ask you: who are you? Apart from your title explaining that I'm a director or I'm a leader or I'm a teacher or whatever, I don't know who am I. Maybe I'm the son or the child of my parents, that's all. So speakers come and go talking the same thing, but how we found this purpose as people, how we use what they have told us as practical tools to find what we are missing so desperately in our lives, it becomes incredibly difficult. So SALGC has taught and said to the leadership the beginning of this year, and they look at topics that needs to be discussed, those which are of national importance. And this is one of the topics that came. And no one else came to mind other than our own friend and family, Mr. Sandile Swana. For those who doesn't know or who are here for the first time and are not even sure as to what SALGC is about or what they are offering. Look, we are a national NPO for men and boys. The intention is to be all over the corners of the Republic of this country. Every community of this country needs to have men who are members of the club, boys who are members of the club. So if you are here for the first time to this leadership lecture of SALGC, we want you and we ask you to take the membership of the club and represent your community, your family, and yourself with the incredible offers that this club has to offer. We avoid as a club to offer a Me Too solution, like most people who do that. We offering the same that other people are offering. Unfortunately, here at home, we don't see men as trash. And I don't know why I'm saying unfortunately. It's actually an incredible thing that we don't see men as trash. We actually see men as leaders, as founders of our nation, the people who are core to the purpose of God of creating earth. God's purpose of creating earth, it's central to a man. And without a man who's awakened, who hasn't fallen, God's mission and purpose on earth is going to be incredibly difficult. So our founding pillars, which can be found on our website, clearly defines our proposition, our value, our unique value proposition. So please, for those who haven't been to our website, do not hesitate to visit our website and see what we offer there. There's incredible programs that are on our website. Our Cardinal Pillars are also there, explaining what you actually do offer. For those who are just joining, I'm gonna just ask you to kindly mute yourself as you walk into the room. I'll ask you leadership support to also do that, but as you walk in, kindly mute. Our founding pillars are actually the core of this club. We addresses the psychosocial and economic issues that challenges our communities. We are not a political formation. We are not one. We are not intending to be one. And we are not addressing politics. We are addressing issues that affect our communities, because it looks like an aspirant for everyone to be a leader is to be a politician. We want people to realize that they can be leaders without being politicians. And it doesn't need them to be rich, wealthy, and be connected to anybody to be a leader. You can be a leader where you seated and exhibit your leadership skills by connecting and sharing the wisdom and the knowledge that God has gave you. So there it is. Our club offers the founding pillars, the 5 founding pillars as our unique value proposition. These pillars, as I'm saying, they're not addressing the problem. They're addressing the causes. And until you address the cause as a nation, which doesn't seem to be an intention right now, we would keep on causing mistakes or causing problems and circling around to trying and fix them. And that in itself is not taking us anywhere as a nation. And I am kindly going once again ask those who are walking into the room to please themselves to mute themselves because the feedback it's not doing justice to this meeting. Our club, it's a men's club. For those who are new here, they will ask questions, why only men? Men, as I've mentioned, are at the foundation of God's plan on earth. And this is why God brought Adam to earth and say, manage my world. And later on, at some point, God brought Eve to say, Eve, I want you to be there and help Adam to manage my environment. So it is for that reason that this club has come through as the platform targeting men, that men must join the club, because we know men always run away from all those that are meant for them. And we are not generalizing by saying all men. We know there's lots of men out there who are very incredible, who are doing some huge work in shaping the future of our nation for our boy child, our women, and our daughters. But the majority of men, we know they run away from such things that work in bringing calm to our land. So central to that, we realize that our plans in whatever we do cannot happen without the assistance of the women, who are actually the greatest partners in a society and in the nation. That is why at SALGC we said we might not accept women as members of the club because the target is men. However, women will be welcomed in the club through and through as friends of the club. And it is for that reason that we have opened a desk in the club, a desk called Friends of SALGC. These Friends of SALGC are not men. Men must join the club and do the work. These Friends of SALGC are ladies, mothers, sisters, daughters, who says we understand what you are in for and we appreciate you as our partners in the society. Because if there's crime in the society, we are the ones who must protect them. If there's programs that must be done in a society, we are men who are supposed to execute those programs. So they are saying, we like what you are doing as partners in the society, and we are here to help you where we can. But men, be in the front and do your work. So these women are here in the club. And if there's women here who wish to join Friends of the club, please do not hesitate. Visit our website and join Friends of the club. You will meet with other women who are here to help the club with ideas and say, you know what, there's these ideas of programs that we need as mothers in the communities. Maybe we can start them, or maybe you can help the club with those programs, because we are always here. We know what is happening with the children when you men are not around. So they help us, women Friends of SALGC, with execution of these programs as well, and coming with ideas of what could work and what would not work. We have various programs that we want to assist the club in moving forward. Over 15 months after our initiation in the small town of Hammanskraal in 2019, the club has created a few programs that are rolling out nationwide. We have this program that we are on. This program is called Leadership Lecture, by a monthly leadership lecture. It comes twice a month on Sunday afternoon when everybody is home, relaxed after a busy weekend, so to call. We have been from church, we have been from shopping on Saturday, some went shopping this morning. We have been from various things that we have been from. So now we are home and calm and preparing for tomorrow to go to various activities, work activities. Now it's time to feed ourselves. And this program, it's a family program, because what we teach here is tools that not only help men, but also would help women, and will help women who've got boy child, and women who've got brothers, and women who've got partners who would need this help. Women and Friends of SALGC would even say to your partners, please come with me, let's switch on and get into the meeting. And this is a family program. And I want to say to you, please make an appointment with SALGC every second week. Next week, we don't have this program. It's the following week because it's bi-monthly, twice a month, as you know. Thank you. And then we have another program, a boy-child program, which is a competition, national youth essay writing competition. We make these boys nationwide to write competition, critical importance in the community. Last year we did a topic of toxic masculinity. These are aimed at educating them on a topic that will ensure that they become better men. Bullying at schools and bullying at home, beating their younger sisters, younger brothers, and thinking that they are men because they are boys. If they go into these activities and programs, they learn to self-restrain in their behavior that is out of line, and then they tend to become better men long-term in the future. So it is with the support of you as parents here that you must encourage your boys to enter these programs. And I must say, when I'm on this platform, on this program, that we need funding, we need sponsors who will sponsor these programs. If you are an executive, a director, or funder, or anyone who's willing to donate for these programs, please do not hesitate. Go to our website, find a donation button, and donate for this program and specify which program you're donating for. Because we, as SALGC, do acknowledge that as ourselves, we are not in the position to can defeat the sickness that is engulfed our society. Partnership and collaboration is what is going to help us achieve this. Standing by the side and folding hands or just tweeting on social media, it's not going to help this nation. We need weight and power behind the wheel, shoulder behind the wheel, as they say. We need each other. We need you. Not only these people who are here are going to accomplish this mission. Together we will. Please remember that we live on More FM. Those who can switch in, let them switch on, and get us there. So as we go along, we have other programs like your financial programs that powers the community. Yeah, so sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, there are the programs that are aimed at community crowdfunding to ensure that poverty in our community doesn't increase at more alarming rate than it already has. We are aware that there's township economy, but we don't just come together and put that economy to use. We have our economies as communities. The plan with the program Aloha Rote in this club is to bring that economy and to ensure that that economy benefits the people in the same communities that they live in. So there's various programs. Some are still being launched. Recently, we launched a program by a young leader in the club, Mr. Israel. He launched a program called Lewala. He brings men together. It's a petty word for man's cave. He brings men together. He helps them with legislative issues that addresses their rights in terms of access to their children, because sometimes as parents, we use children to punish fathers for not being in our lives and all that. So it's a leadership program as well, and it involves young men who are in the club, also teaching them about various programs that young men should get involved and active in, because an idle mind, we all know, is a devil's workshop. So we're trying to avoid to have these men idling and these young boys idling. We're trying to get them activated and running with all these manner of activities that builds them into incredible leaders. Because in SALGC, we believe that leadership starts at home. We are just a wheel to activate that. However, everything else, parents should be involved in doing that. Our speaker, Mr. Swana, I will go on and on and on because of my passion. Ladies and gentlemen, just to introduce for those, this man doesn't need introduction at all, but for those that don't know who Mr. Swana is, Sandile has been in private business since 1996. He presently runs a saddle company, a software engineering and management consulting and trading company. He is also he's completed a BCom degree at VETS in BIS and economics, a BCom honors in logistics and from UNISA, and an MBA from UP. Mr. Swana, for those who don't know, is also a what you call a a board non-executive advisor of SALGC. So we are very proud to say he has heeded our humble request that he should kindly bring his wisdom to helping the board of this club to try and put everything in order so that we can achieve our unique value proposition of our founding pillars. So yeah, he also completed his BTech and BTech honors in Christian leadership and ethics at UNISA. He is an accredited preacher of the Methodist Church of South Africa. Sandile has 2 children and 1 grandchild. He's married to Bonnie and is certain by birth. He lives in Mohali City. Mr. Swana, let's jump into it. The platform is all yours. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. I hope everybody can hear me.
I can.
Thank you, sir. Thank you also to the executive committee, Bo.
Thank you.
Good fellows, without much ado, this topic we're addressing today, the reason why I've chosen the authors and leaders that I've chosen to as sources for my teaching is to also illustrate that this topic is not new. This topic has taken the time and effort of very serious thinkers here on earth. The first one that I looked at is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. from the United States of America. The other one is Dr. Miles Monroe from the Bahamas. I encountered the teaching on this particular topic of Dr. Miles Monroe in 1997, and it impacted me very, very deeply. So this is a topic that I believe in strongly for the past 24 years or so. Now, the topic, when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke on this topic, he talked about that every one of us must have a life's blueprint. Sorry, I'm just trying to go down. He addressed in 1967, Dr. Martin Luther King addressed a school, the Barat Junior High School in Philadelphia, October 26, 1967. And the question that he asked was, what is your life's blueprint? The blueprint is a plan. Usually when we build a house, we create a blueprint, a plan. You want to build a car, there must be blueprints. Anything you want to build, ideally, there should be a blueprint. So a proper and solid and sound blueprint regarding how you will live your life is the best foundation for your life. So in other words, in this life, you must have a roadmap and an overall plan based on firm decisions and points of focus. You know, some of us, you know, even today, this weekend, in fact, I spent with one of my little cousins who's just finished matric. He's now preparing to go to Germany to study, and his father sent him to me to say, what advice can I give to this young man? And in fact, I took him through this lesson to say, Menier, you are now a young 18, 19-year-old. You must make decisions and give your life direction. You must have a plan. You must have a point of focus. You must have a point where you're saying, I am going in that direction. Yes, along the line, you will fine tune, but most of us, we keep our options open in a number of areas. Let me maybe just make these points straight away. The other point is in the next line, but let me make this point. The wife that I have today, I met at first year university. And I made a decision that I'm going to marry her, and I started working in that direction. That was a decision. Some of us, and I was telling this young man, now you must forgive my language here and there. I was telling this young man that some of us, we go to university or college or technical with the idea that we must finish the girls there. And then you waste your time, and in the process, waste your career, and sometimes even die trying to do that. So you need to make a decision and narrow your options down. Because the reason why we don't have a purpose, because we are too broad. So in simple terms, there must be a specific outcome you are aiming for as the final outcome of your life. You must then have a blueprint or a plan of how you will get there. I started getting clear ideas of what I want to do with my life in standard 8 in high school. And that determined what I studied at varsity, and that agitation still works on my heart and my mind today. I have not yet achieved my dream of creating a manufacturing electronics. And right now, I think I must do that right here on the African continent. So when I started to get this inspiration to get into control systems, software, and all those types of things, it was in 1986. And that idea has stayed in my mind. And wherever I've gone, I've tried to stick around the issue of ICT, software, and systems. But I was a young boy, a teenager, when this idea came to me. It came to me, and these ideas come to all of us. The difference is that most of us ignore them when they come. You cannot live your life on the basis that what will be, not pursuing a plan and a purpose. The greatest challenge every morning is not knowing what to do with your time, energy, and resources. The greatest challenge in life is not knowing what your unique contribution to humanity and the planet Earth should be. When you go to Soweto or any other township today, you find men in large numbers lingering around the street corners, not knowing what to do with the strength they have in their bodies. Every day, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You go to the rural areas and villages of Transkei, you find grown men and women lingering around, not knowing in the morning where to go to, what to do. I was in the town of Orkney one day. You see a woman, grown woman, walking in town around 10 a.m. in the morning in town with a night dress, just walking around. You see this person is just trying to finish the day, not to use it effectively. Purpose is the original reason why a particular thing was created. It reflects the original intention of the creator of anything or entity. In order to know your purpose, you must check what moves you, what captures your attention and gives you life and energy doing it. In other words, there are feelings, there are things that agitate you. For instance, I'm speaking here today to men and women and the friends of SALGC, because this idea of purpose and the idea that all humans can be made effective, focused, and productive, that idea is something that I believe in. So it touches my life, it impacts on my life, it makes me easy. It makes it easy for me to decide to participate in this. There are many other things that I don't participate in, but I do believe in the development of men, for instance, the development of fathers, in the development of boys. I believe in that cause, and I believe in men as a foundation of society. So that is why I'm here. But I also believe that everybody has got a purpose. Even men have got a purpose. Manhood, fatherhood, husbandhood, brotherhood, all of those things have got a purpose. And you need to grow in those things. None of us has any calling, and we need to say this in South Africa. None of us has any calling to destroy any life, natural assets, or other people's property. You can't tell us that you have a calling to be a mafia boss or a gangster. So when we talk about purpose, crime in general and crime against humanity is not a purpose. Purpose is about adding value to human society and the planet Earth. Remember well that in you, there is a calling, an inclination to render a service to humanity. Just like the orange tree knows to produce oranges on its own, your spirit, soul, and body are seeking an outlet to become what they truly are and fulfill their original purpose. Listen therefore to your spirit and to your soul, and allow your mind to bring forth what it was created to do and what you were created to do. These are the 3 points. These 3 points need consideration according to the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Number 1, have a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. In other words, you are not a nobody. You are a somebody already. Before you do anything, you are just a somebody. Always be sure that your life has significance, inherent value, and purpose. You are valuable to human society, to the planet Earth, and to all of existence as a steward and a contributor. Indeed, some of us have a calling to look after plants, animals, nature, more broadly. There is significance in that. The fact that you are human comes automatically with self-evident human dignity that you yourself must agree with. Do not allow anybody to confuse you about that. Your life has a purpose, and it is up to you to discover your life's work, purpose, or calling. It does exist, and you must live it out. No one else, no one is useless. Now, take this point home. Because your purpose already exists and you were created and born for a purpose, it exists. Ukhangela into yaziyo uba ikhona. So when you are looking for your purpose, you are looking for something that exists. So you are going to find it because it exists, and you need to look for it until you find it. Have determination to achieve excellence. Adopt a culture of daily improvement in the work of your life. Every one of us has a life's work or a purpose. You are born with natural gifts that must be used to fulfill your life's work or purpose. Be clear what it is that your energies and time will be devoted to during your stay here on earth. However, also work daily, the absolutely best that you can ever be in your life's work. Now, let me just make a point here. One of the things that need to be done is to eliminate things that are never going to add value to your life. As an example, as a young boy, I knew that I cannot play soccer. I don't know how to play soccer. So soccer had to be eliminated from my life. On the other hand, from an age of about 8 years old, I fell in love with rugby. And I knew that I need to develop myself in rugby and become the best that I can be in rugby. So part of finding your purpose is to eliminate things. There are things that must be eliminated that are taking time and resources that are not going to help. Know what you are here for and what your area of expertise and excellence will be. You can never discover your purpose and calling in life if you never sit alone and search for that in yourself as well. You know, some of us, you are looking for your purpose, but you have never, this year in 2021, you have never even spent 1 hour in complete silence. Every time you are alone in the house, you press your phone, John Fully Gate, John Fully Gate. All that noise is taking away from you focusing and deeply searching within yourself to find what your purpose is. What should you be busy with? What can you be good at? And you want your purpose to be discovered by someone else and to tell you, but in actual fact, it is in you. Self-reflection and asking yourself as to where you are going and where in reality you should be going is critical for finding your purpose. In 1995, I sat down, I was working for Caltex, and I sat down and I asked myself these questions with a computer in front of me. And I said, what will happen if I actually devote my life to Caltex Oil? And I worked out a program, year in year, accounting what is likely to happen. I calculated from 1995 to 2010. I was doing that in 1995. I calculated what will happen to my child. I had one child at that point. Calculated what will happen to my wife, what will happen to my house, what will happen to my cars if I stay here. The following year, I had left Caltex to go and start my first petrol station as a business, independent. And from 1996, I've always been in private business. The idea of being in private business had occurred to me in 1986. And I knew that within 3.5 years of working for Caltex, I must leave and go to what had occurred to me back in 1986. Finding what to do with your life is not about finding the highest paying profession. My mother was very disappointed when one afternoon, sitting in my room as a student, I was an Anglo bursary holder, having spent 4 years in the Anglo bursary scheme, and it was my final year. And one afternoon, I sat alone in my room in Braamfontein, in Johannesburg. And it came to me that my future is not with Anglo-American. Anglo-American at that time was a very prestigious company in South Africa to work for. And within that afternoon, I wrote them a letter that I will not work for them. They must release me. Within the same afternoon, I get a letter of release. I didn't have to pay any money back. They released me. And that set a platform for me to go into my independence eventually, within 3.5 years from that time. Determine where you will have the greatest impact and where your gifts will flourish and rewards will come. We don't find our purpose in the Sunday Times where they are advertising job and you look which one has got the best salary. You determine this yourself. Where can I make the greatest impact? And where your gifts will flourish and where your rewards will come from. In every context, there is something of great value you can do. Discover it and focus on discovering it. Now, your excellence and your spirit of excellence in your calling must be as good as Chinua Achebe, Lionel Messi, Usain Bolt, or even Huma Segela in your field of calling, purpose and destiny. Purpose, obsession, and excellence must be the true marks of your life. This is done through demonstrated productivity and constant progress in your purpose. You must be the master of your calling and gift through deliberate and systematic self-development and practice of your skills. You must display incomparable and unique skill. And you are not going to reach the highest level in your gifting, in your purpose, if you are a part-timer in it, if you do it occasionally, if you are not sure that you are going to spend your life doing it. Sometimes, I don't know if I've expressed this in this forum before, you know, people will ask you, hey man, by the way, you had a hair salon. Are you still doing hair? Are you still in the hair salon business? You had no commitment to that thing. You dabble with things and you will never be good at anything and you will never excel at anything because you are a dabbler. When you get into something, you must get in, all of you, and be inside of it, all of you. If you look at people like Mike Tyson, former boxing heavyweight champion of the world, at 54 years old, he realized that he cannot be anything else but a sportsman. He is now as fit as a fiddle and promoting boxing even to old-timers. Some of us now realize that sportsmanship and fitness are a lifelong calling and activity. When we take a leaf from his teachings and save ourselves from avoidable health disasters, by adopting a healthy lifestyle. Noma ungangibona manje ne-fitness engiyitholayo at my age, ngoba sengimamela labo Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
and it's because Mike Tyson is in his purpose. From a young age, he was a sportsman, he knew fitness. Now, when he got old, he got this idea that I'm old, let me develop a Mkaba, let me do this, let me do this. It nearly killed him. He realized that actually, let me get back to my calling, get back to my purpose, get fit, start teaching people about fitness and health all over the social media, all over TV, and all of. He's a happy man, he's even fighting exhibition matches and so on and so forth. That is sticking to it from the time you're a teenager, in your 50s, in your 60s, in your 70s, in your 80s, in your 90s. Stick with it and make an improvement in it every day. You need to know logically, emotionally, and in your feelings what it is that gives you life and productivity. Today, I was going to give a lecture. When I'm going to give a lecture, I come alive. It gives me life, lecturing. Teaching people gives me life. Looking for information, researching topics gives me life. I don't know how to sing. I cannot help there. Don't know how to play soccer. I can't help there, but I can teach. Martin Luther King Jr. was never bothered by arrests, death threats, hostility of church leaders and politicians, because he was sure in his own mind that he was in his calling and purpose. When you know your calling and purpose in life, you do not panic about threats or hunger. Your safety and rewards are all in your calling, not in obeying any group that seeks to mold you into their own image. There must be, the last point from Martin Luther King, there must be a commitment to eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice. You must have values, you must have morals and ethics that guide your life. And I thought I should add a verse here. For this reason, make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and to goodness knowledge, and to knowledge self-control, and to self-control perseverance, and to perseverance godliness, and to godliness mutual affection, and to mutual affection love. So you must have values in life, because it is these values that make you to see whether something is right or wrong. These days, we have to say that you must be honest and trustworthy and be fair to everybody. Create win-win situations and do not rip people off. You must never lose your self-respect, out of which you then respect all other humans. You must seek to make life better for everybody. Your gift and calling is for the benefit of many. Know where you can make the most decisive impact on the lives of humans and nature. You must be able to see situations where your unique gift and calling can be useful. Also remember that when people need oranges, they go find an orange tree. When you are excelling in your purpose, people will call you. They will find you. Thus, you do not need to insist that you be included in those things that are not in line with your purpose and your gifting. When you are at the center of your gifting and calling, involved in constant deliberate improvement of your light, your light shines to the point that anybody who needs serious light comes to you. You do not call them. I am here today speaking to all of you. I did not ask anybody to come and speak with you. Your organization asked me. Every TV station where you see me, they call me. I never asked any producer, any journalist to call me. They call me themselves. And when I get there, I say exactly what is on my mind, whether they like it or they don't like it. They will call me if they want again. You do not need to be a social climber or a climber of any corporate life. Now, let's move on to Dr. Miles Monroe. Dr. Miles Monroe, in discussing this topic, he says, There are 5 questions that you and I have to answer. Number 1, who am I? Where am I from? Why am I here on earth? I am here to do what? What can I do? What are my capabilities and capacities? Where am I going? What is my destiny? Let's deal with the question of who am I? And I wanted to answer this question. I hope I will succeed without referring to the Bible. Who are you exactly? Some of us try to get our identity from branded clothes, expensive cars, and the latest fashion. They will tell you that Sandile Swana low cheap. Yambona low cheap. You hire image consultants to manage your image because you do not have a true identity. You do not have true personality and you do not have true character. You are acting by a coach. You must behave like this, you must speak like this, and your English has got a twang in it because they are coaching you like that. You are acting, you are an actor. You are an actor because you don't have what? Character and personality. You are not well developed in your true identity and character, so that you can act like an authentic, well-developed human being. The crowds and opinion makers of your day can give you an identity which simply means comply with the dictates and demands of the masses. They even give you what they call best practices, which smother your creativity, inventiveness, and resources. How come somebody says to you, some of you are like that. Somebody says, a guy from England will come to South Africa and teach you the best practice of cooking umngqusho. This one now is the international best practice of cooking umngqusho, and then you are going to fall for that. So these best practices are the practices that now smoother. They kill the creativity that is supposed to come out of your identity, the original things that come out of you. Who would have told Tuma Segela to sing like he sings? Or Lady Smith Black Mambazo? Which Englishman would have taught Lady Smith Black Mambazo to sing Stratamia to world standard? Eventually, your identity is uncovered by you. It is you, I left out a word there. It is you who must link your identity to your purpose and the masterful execution of your gifts, skills, and ability. You have your own inborn genius that is inside of you, which you must search out within yourself and express outwardly into the real world. As you unfold your own identity and personality, you may well find that people prefer that you endorse them and their product rather than the other way around. Mercedes-Benz, Louis Vuitton will ask you for endorsement when you excel in your purpose through the masterful execution of your skills, the value and the value you add to human life. Right now, you seek your identity from them. In other words, if you drive a Mercedes-Benz and you wear Louis Vuitton, that defines who you are. But when you know who you are, Mercedes-Benz and Louis Vuitton will come for you to endorse them. That's why they can go to Pelé of Brazil, say, endorse us. Go to Muhammad Ali, they say, endorse us. Go to Lionel Messi, say, endorse us. Go to Lady Smith Black Mambazo and say, endorse us. But because you don't have your own identity, then the other people must endorse you and try to pump you up in terms of trying to give you an identity. Excellence and personality eventually merge. Let me give you this thing. There was a player called Bazooka Sisweni. Why did he end up getting a nickname Bazooka? his excellence near the goalpost, when he hits the ball, he hits it like a bazooka. So here, the personality of a bazooka in soccer, and then his excellence in his skills and personality matched, and his identity became bazooka. Hot sticks Mabusa, some of you know him. Why? Those sticks were drumsticks that he was playing. The way he was playing the drum, now people could not distinguish between the men and the drums and the sticks. It became one thing with drumming. Hot sticks Mabusa. And where are you? Where are you? So an orange tree can be a tree, but without oranges, we don't know what tree this is. But when it produces the oranges, we say, no, this is now an orange tree. That it is called an orange tree. The identity of it is an orange tree. Awuzuba ne purpose ne identity kungekho nto uyaziyo uyenzayo. Mastery goes hand in glove with personality and unique identity. When you master your craft, you master your purpose, then it becomes intertwined with your personality and your unique identity. So even if you and I were put together under the same coach, under the same trainer, as we master our skills, you will be called bazooka, I will be called heel extension. We are getting the same lessons, but our personalities end up manifesting the teachings in a different way. The individuality, the true uniqueness and identity then emerge. The identity of Pelé is mixed up and indistinguishable from Brazilian Soccer World Cup victory. You cannot talk about World Cup victories of Brazil or even the World Cup without discussing Pelé of Brazil. He is mixed up in it and his identity is there because when he is in that arena, his true identity emerges. Your identity does not come from doing nothing. In the same way, you cannot separate Muhammad Ali from boxing world championship and extraordinary boxing skills. Both of these men became world influencers from their purpose and gifts, and they were unique and expert. That is the product of focused and constant systematic personal development. These are guys who will train 6 hours a day, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at midday, 2 hours in the afternoon. And every time they finish training, there's a coach pointing out mistakes that were made to correct it, to correct it, to correct it. And you are not Pelé of Brazil in soccer, but you also want to be Pavarotti in music. We are going to cause problems and we are going to have failure. Look at Lady Smith Black Mambas and Joseph Chabalala. And their unique focus opened the entire world to them. When they started Skatamia was not a business, let alone an international business. It was played in hostels among the lower classes free of charge. But today, universities recognize Skatamia because of the systematic, deliberate improvement introduced by Black Mamba. So the identity of Sam Shabalala, of Joseph Shabalala, is indistinguishable. You cannot separate it from Black Mambas, or you cannot separate it from Stratamia. So that is, I'm trying to explain the idea of who am I? Who am I? Angena uphuthwe Jeep, angena usisi Louis Vuitton. Where am I from? What is my true origin or source? Your biological origins do not tell you where you are from. Where do all humans come from? Your origin is spiritual, invisible, infinite, and eternal. The reason why I'm talking to you today, I can't even see you, but the words I speak to you, they deal with your spirit. They're invisible, you can't touch them. They transform your spirit, they transform your mind, they transform your thinking, and therefore transform your action and transform your life. Because you are spirit, you are invisible, you are infinite, and you are eternal. You are not your physical body. So the makeup or construction of your mind and how that mind is maintained and developed supersedes any other thing that you are. You are spirit before you are anything else. Your brain is a physical thing. It is not your mind. Your mind is the foundation of grasping your purpose. It is the fountain of creativity, inventiveness, uniqueness, and resourcefulness. So when a new idea comes up, it doesn't come from your brain, it comes from your mind. And when we are dealing with matters of the mind, we are dealing with matters of the spirit. They are spiritual in nature. Thought is a spiritual matter. That gives you the mind. That gives you infinite wisdom, creativity, productivity, and dynamism. That's like the source of all creation and of all existence, your mind. That intangible thing that is infinite. The mind has got no limits. The brain might be physically limited, but the mind has got no limits. A few years ago, one man came to set a world record in the strongest man in the world to lift half a ton, 500 kilograms in a deadlift. It was the first time people said this guy might just explode trying to lift that weight. All sorts of opinions were expressed. But in his mind, he was sure it can be done, and he did it. After he did it, there are many more. That record has been broken many times. It's becoming normal now for a strong man to lift above 500 kg, half a ton. Because it started not in the muscles, it started in the mind. So all limitations, all mediocrity, all excellence, all creativity comes from the mind. The mind deals with abstract, invisible, and intangible things. Simply then, you are spirit who has spiritual origins, and you are real. Let's go to the next question. Why am I here? Uzokwenza ntoni apha emhlabeni? Ufuna ntoni apha? What is my purpose? What is the reason for my existence? By applying your mind at an early age and every day. I'm in my 50s now. I must make sure that when I say early age, I'm just far up early age. By applying your mind at an early age and every day, your purpose becomes progressively revealed to you. So when I talk to young people, I don't care if you're 5 years old. The young 5-year-old needs to start to understand what apha emhlabeni awuzelanga party. You are not going to be the one who's busy entertaining yourself here. You need to find your purpose. You need to understand your gifting. You need to be focused. You need to be productive. You must be sure that you have a purpose and that you can find it when you look for it. Because one of the things that causes people to, some people don't even know that we're here for a purpose, all of us. So they don't even look for that. They've never crossed their mind. But the purpose is surely there. Any tree or insect has a purpose and a good reason for existence. So do you. In your case, you are not here for a general purpose. You have a unique purpose. You are an individual, you are unique, and you have a unique purpose. Commit to what has convicted you. I will make a historical example about this issue of conviction. There are certain convictions that I had. When I was in Soweto in 1976, I was a student at Siseko Primary School in Soweto, and when the riots broke out in White City, Jabavu. In that period of about 3 years, from 1976 to 1979, I had a conviction. My conviction was that as a talented Black person, which I am, I was then, I am now, I will never realize my potential in South Africa if we do not overthrow and remove the government of the apartheid government. So I got convicted about that my talents will be wasted by this government. And I dedicated my life to the overthrow of the government at that time. When Mandela came out of prison in 1990, I knew that my time in politics is over. Stop being a freedom fighter, get into my career. In the meantime, I knew that my career is going to be in electronics and computing. I had to make sure I get a proper education and get on with it. Now, so it means I was convicted twice. I was convicted first in 1976, and I was convicted a second time in 1986. 1976 was about the struggle. 1986 was about my profession. Put all your strength and mind into it, and it will grow and expand and become clearer to you. Calling and conviction go together. Some of us are not convicted. In other words, you are not totally committed. Totally committed. That's conviction. Life must have both purpose and conviction. It doesn't help to know your purpose, but you are not convicted. We cannot really explain why a particular person wants to be a police officer or a nurse or a carpenter or a writer or a physicist like Albert Einstein. But that is the service that gives them life. It gives them fulfillment. They become totally dedicated to that calling or vocation. In that way, they are convicted about the value to human society of their profession. I am very happy to receive the services of a dedicated and competent professional police officer. I benefit from them understanding their purpose in life. So I must also benefit from you knowing your purpose and doing it well. Most of the time, your calling comes with a category of people you need to serve. As an example, there was a man called Dr. Edwin Lewis Cole, who had a very strong international program for teaching manhood to men. Martin Luther King Jr. was called to teach love, peace, and equality to all Americans. He corrected oppression and racial exclusion as part of that purpose. Mother Teresa was well known for her love for the street dwellers and the homeless people of India, specifically in Kolkata. Taking care of the material needs of the homeless people gave her life and made her unique. She became a wealth figure just from that. So some of you want to work with computers, nothing else. Just like me, I like computers. I work with them. I also do social things like this one that I'm doing. But I know that my main area of appetite is those computers. Study that, learn and see where God is taking you, where God is taking you with you. I'm comparing people who do social work, social activities, versus those who deal with machines, right? By the way, some people are called into beauty, fashion, and luxury. That is a proper calling. Not all of us are called to focus exclusively on the poor and on poverty. Coco Chanel, those of you who are fashion conscious will know her. Fantastic woman. Coco Chanel is an excellent illustration of destiny, purpose, and gifts. And her name and force of personality reverberate through history. She mastered international fashion and represented it well. She has remained a force of history in Western culture and dress sense. What is my potential? What are my true capabilities and capacities? There are certain things I knew as a young man. One was that I can't play soccer. Two, I knew that I could not sing. If they put me in the choir, they'll put me at the back there just to make a general noise. What are my true gifts and abilities? Human experts cannot really tell you your true potential. Coaches and teachers have their limits at both the starting point of your potential and where you master your calling and vocation to a point that they never knew existed before. Some of you don't know that Louis Armstrong was rejected at the School of Music. He said, there's no music here, this guy can't sing. But he became one of the best sellers of music and artists in music of all time. So some of the commentators and experts may not even know what your potential is, because what you are bringing, like Louis Armstrong was bringing a sound they'd never known before. So they are measuring your potential that they don't know, using what they know to measure it. So be very careful about what other people are going to say about you and your potential, your capabilities and capacity. However, you need to know as a 3-year-old or a 65-year-old that you have skills, you have capabilities and capacities that are not yet known or mastered, because you are unique. It is always better to understand your gifts early in life and put them through a systematic development process. Most of us in our homes were told to entertain yourself and waste your time in playful things. Deliberately seek to focus on one gift, cultivate it daily and master it. We're headed towards the end now. What is my destiny? Destiny can mean your final end. Destiny can also mean events that happen between your starting point and your final end that should shape how you proceed in life. Signals. Just like Moses saw a burning bush at some point. There are certain signals, certain events that happen along the line that are supposed to be pointers of where you must be going. Your gifts, talents, and abilities should be aligned to your purpose and to your destiny. Your constitution, your makeup causes you to react in a particular fashion to events and things that you come across in life. As an example, my younger brother and I were students in White City, Japan in 1970. My younger brother never became an activist. Totally never. In anti-apartheid, I became it. So events, because of how you are made up, we don't react the same way to events. So a signal for me is not a signal for you. These events clarify your path of life. Whether you are looking at the greatest scientist or musician or preacher or even a politician, you discover that there is an event or a series of events that triggered purpose and activated it. This means that events talk to us, more especially if we are aware that events are supposed to trigger both destiny and purpose in us. Destiny is about events that happen to call you to your purpose and to your ultimate destination. We're not going to read everything here. The story of Mikhail Chumakov is instructive. He was a scientist in the USSR, the Soviet Union. His ultimate purpose and legacy was to lead the fight against polio and viruses generally. He is recognized for that until now. He collaborated with American scientists even when relations between the Soviet Union and the USA were cold. He is the man who took the oral vaccine of polio and did large-scale experiments in Russia and started producing it on large scale. That became the basis for the Americans to be able to start vaccinating Americans, because what he did in the Soviet Union was not yet legal in the US, but the results that he produced in the Soviet Union caused polio to be eradicated in the world as we know it today. So those are the points that I wanted, that is the references there. So I'll stop there for today, then we can have a discussion. Hello? Hello?
Hello, can you hear you, Mr. Swana? seems like we lost the person. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah?
Yes, thank you very much, leadership, for such a beautiful lecture. In the meantime, we'll request the people that are here, if you've got the question or if you've got the comment, bring it forward. The chairperson of the club is struggling with connection. He'll be coming back. So if you've got the question, and then please put it in or just raise the hand so that we can acknowledge you and give you a platform. We thank everyone who's tuning in from Facebook, directly here from Zoom, and also from all live. We appreciate everyone who's coming through here. Please, if you've got a question, let's engage. It's not about only what the leadership has presented, but also our view, and let's engage him on the content that he is delivered on here. Anyone, please, you can raise your hand so that I can recognize you. Said Mr. Swana. So sometimes they say that if people have no answer, maybe you said a lot that they can't sort of ask you any question. Bongani Baba here, Baba said, wow, what a powerful lecture. He also said, the time you will have the greatest impact. That is very powerful. Thank you for that, Mr. Baba. Any other questions? It seems we don't have questions here. Any questions for Mr. Swana?
Hello, Baba.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I'm saying that so far we don't have a question, but people are writing to say powerful, and some people are struggling to hear. I don't know if they're struggling to hear me or they're struggling to hear you. Am I audible?
No, I can hear you myself.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone who has a comment? Mr. Bo, are you back?
Yeah, my little network is terrible. Yes,
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was opened the platform for anyone to raise and comment about the content of the presentation. So you can take the platform check.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Swana, for a great presentation. Apologies, the network is just kicking me in and out. I've got two different networks, Lana, as backup for each other. I'm in and out. My question, while people, I know a lot of people should have been taking notes, because this is one famous topic that people really want to know how to find their purpose. And you have really said a lot, and thank you so much for so much work that you have put in this. It shows how much research you have done into this. You're not just giving us a short work done. You really researched and did your work. We appreciate that very much. My question I'm not sure if that was answered as I was going in and out of the meeting. How do you mentioned something like, and you made an example of, I had a saloon tomorrow, and then the next day I've got things. People ask me, hey, how's the business? I said, how do you know when to quit? Like, I sit on the salon and it's really not working, and I stay on the salon to a point where I've wasted so much of my time I could have quit, maybe, and tried something else.
This is a very difficult question.
Mm.
And I hope people will understand what I'm saying.
Mm.
Because I am not now giving you a mathematical formula. Everything, every decision that you make in business, in marriage, in family, anywhere where you have to make a decision. Are you at peace in your spirit about it? Are you comfortable with it? Are you sure? Because the issue is that before you start any activity, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a business, just accept that you are going to go through the most brutal process of your life. It's going to brutalize you, and success usually comes after very great failures and amazing disgrace and scandal. So the idea, don't start something with the idea that you are going to quit, that your idea that you are just going to quit if it becomes too tough. The idea that life is easy is a wrong idea. So that is how I will answer. If your spirit tells you, because I'm a man who believes, and as much as I'm an educated man with 5 university degrees, my decisions are not just based on calculations that I do. My decisions are based whether in my spirit I feel that I'm on the right track. And I've suffered a lot. I've suffered in business. I've suffered everywhere.
But you stood the test of time.
You have to stand the test of time, and you stop being embarrassed.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take questions. We'll take questions if there's any. By a show of hand, please, if there's any question. And those live on Facebook, please just type your question there. We've got leaders here who will be able to take it. Colleagues, we're live on Mure Live radio station.
There's a hand that is raised. Ngisa has raised the hand.
Oh, I see. You see Ngisa Lana has a hand up. Over to you. Let's dwell into it.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I want to commend SALGC for thinking about the topic. It is a topic that has come at a time when I think everybody needs it. I'm talking for people of my age, which is way ahead of Swana's age. And I am benefiting from it. So I want to thank you guys for thinking about this topic. And I also want to thank you, Mangi, for responding and delivering a message that has meaning, had meaning at the time, Yabo Martin Luther King. It has meaning in our time. It will continue to have meaning to our grandchildren. So I'm challenging everyone who is here to take this seriously for ourselves, for our families. I'm already raising grandchildren. I am going to take this to my grandchildren. I want to thank you.
Thank you, leadership. We appreciate the compliment. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Please just put the hand down so that when you raise it again, we'll be able to pick it up as a new hand. Any questions or comment from anyone else? So as I was listening here myself, and the question finding the purpose, it's, I think for many people also, it's when things are like this, companies are retrenching, companies are closing down, people are getting their pension monies, you get to be sitting with that lump sum and wondering, I'm scared ukuthi ngizayitya iphele. And everybody comes with an idea to you, you just fall for anything. But if you had the foundation of knowing who you are, and as you have mentioned, all the 5 questions that Dr. Miles Monroe has asked, and we have tabulated them so easily and gave answers to each and every one of them as weapons or as tools of how we should find our purpose. It becomes easy for
The host is muted us.
everyone to say, I know who I am. This is the direction. Is there any question? Raise a hand if there's a question. And as you seem to have this effect, you go to cloud theta, you become so clear that people don't even have questions.
Yeah, I think people can also get the notes themselves, and
Yes.
they can correspond and write messages or WhatsApps and what have you. You know, I got a message, a call, in fact, a call from Northern Botswana. This person had heard me on radio pulpit, and he was facing retrenchment, and was asking me to pray for him to retain his job that he has had for 20 years. And my prayer to him, for him, was that God must really revive that spirit of power, of love, and of sound mind, and evict in him the spirit of fear. Secondly, that God must lead him according to his wisdom and inspiration into whatever the new life may be. Because some of us, the company where we are working has now become God in itself. It has become everything. To the point that anything that is a gift, talent, or anything that is of great value that is in us, we don't even look. We believe in this world that there are people who are born to mysteriously create jobs that we must keep for life. And our job is just to prepare CVs and to get those jobs for life. And I think that is a mistake, because you are worth more than a gold mine all by yourself.
Powerful, incredible, absolutely incredible. And I must also commend you, my leader. And this is gonna come as a surprise that we get a lot of speakers, obviously, here at the club, and very few of them are always willing to share their presentation. And I find it to be very much straightforward leadership. Every time you come to the club and you share your leadership, you spread yourself, you are willing to share. I don't blame them for any reason. Some people will tell you that it's intellectual property, I can't share it. But with you, information, you always share it. You spread it to the world. And for that, I want to commend you. And it's the information that we'll share with the rest of the leaders who we have their email addresses or their WhatsApp numbers. We will share it with them. And we're grateful for you for that. Any other question? Any other question? If there's anybody who has a question for Mr. Swana. I see at the box at the bottom, all leadership people has put the email address. For anybody who wants to contact the office for the email for the presentation, there's an email address there. You can send your email there on the email right there on the box. So if there's any other question, I'll take it or comment. Or is it difficult to figure one's purpose? I see there's a question there from Mrs. Awesome. Yeah, I think I had this question myself. I know I wrote it down, but I was frustrated by this network. I ended up forgetting why. Just to add, I see because I was hands up. Can I finish with Mrs. Awesome's question first? Then I'll come
Okay,
to
no
it.
problem. No problem.
My leader, corny question. Why is it difficult that so many people find their purpose? And now you have to figure out one's purpose. What makes it difficult?
I think that I think a big percentage of the difficulty is that, first of all, a lot of us, as I said, personally, I only encountered somebody teaching about purpose in 1997. My father or any other pastor or any other leader that I looked up to before then, never seen. So I was not even looking for. So the plans that I had made out of inspiration that came to me from time to time. So that's the first difficulty. The second difficulty, obviously, that is related to the first one, is that how many of us are sure that the purpose is there? There are people who think that they've come here just to linger around a little bit. Then another issue is that, are you able, first of all, to assess which things touch you, which things really impact on you? You know, which things draw you, which things want you to do something about. Some of us, as soon as something is starting to be a bothersome issue, you put a record, a music on to kill that thing. And that is your calling. That thing that keeps bothering you is your calling. The other one is multiplicity of gifts. You know, I'm good in so many things, I don't know which one. Have you ever tried to weed out these things? Because some of them are not even compatible. I'll make a silly example. You know, when my daughter was growing up, I took her for dancing. Got to put her in a dancing school. Then one day I went to watch her in athletics. And she came number 2 in the race she was running. She was obviously disappointed that she didn't win the race, but I was not looking at that. I was looking at her running style and skill, natural talent. So this girl can actually be a champion. And I took her now to a professional athletics school. When she got there, the athletics coach said, "No, there's something wrong with your feet." Then she explained that she's a dancer. She says, "The thing that is going to stop you from excelling as a sprinter is this dancing." She was winning world championships in dancing. So we had to make a decision, say, cut out the dancing, focus on sprinting. So some of us have got so many gifts, we play with them. We just play to display with them, not to have an impact. And then we cannot really even get to the center of our gifting, let alone the center of our purpose. So I would answer that question like that.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Very powerful. Ausdupo, I can see you, but I'll start with Osma Kosazana first. Sisi, dwell into it. The moment is yours.
No, mine is not a question. It's just a comment to commend Mr. Swana for the beautiful presentation today. It was really eye-opening, very convicting as well. I was just thinking about myself and my own dreams and aspirations, and sometimes starting something and not being consistent with it. So I like the point he made about, you know, first of all, when there's something else and then you move to Tyson, a salon, and then you move to Tyson. I was laughing. I'm really realizing that, you know, that's actually maybe a problem that affects all of us, why we don't become consistent to our dream and stay on and, you know, and fight the good fight until the end. But anyway, generally a very good presentation. I'm quite impressed about it. So thank you once again for your insights, Mr. Swana. Well done. Thank you, sir. Thank you, leadership. I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, you can put your hands down. Leadership Ntatling.
Good afternoon, leadership. Thank you. And to you again, thank you for always organizing such important topics. To Mr Sandile Swana, my biggest concern is I think we are dealing with moral decay. The reason I'm saying this, you made a comment on a person needs to have values, morals, ethics that guides his or her life. And you made a comment about John Vulgate. And the other concern is people who will walk in the street around wearing night dresses. You know, for me, that is not moral. No, I find it very concerning and frustrating to look at young girls, you know, dancing to the John Vulgate. What is the moral behind that song? And the very young boys also looking at them, enjoying the song. There is nothing to enjoy in my understanding. So it's a very serious concern of what type of future leaders, or even if they might not be leaders, but they're going to be mothers and fathers in their own right. But generally, you look at how they carry themselves. You know, there are no values, there are no morals, which is a very big concern to me as a mother who's raising a 19-year-old boy. And which is the reason why I've actually joined this Friends of SALGC, because it's very important to expect him to be a very responsible young guy who will be able to know what is right and wrong, you know, when you groom him. So yeah, that is my concern and my comment after your presentation. Thank you.
My leader. Thank you, my leader. These two ladies coincidentally are members, are the executives of Friends of SALGC. They are both the chairperson and the deputy, so in the committee. So ladies interested in joining Friends of SALGC, they've got a voice. Thank you. I see the hand is raised of Leadership Victor Kalishao. Leadership, unmute yourself and dwell into it.
Thank you, leadership. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Yeah, Boba.
Okay. No, I just want to say, Enkos for the presentation. I'm really overweight or obese with information, so I really appreciate the presentation. It was powerful. I just wanted to say thank you, Uvita from Pumalanga. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, leadership. Please put your hand down, my leader, so that when you raise it again, you can be able to see it. Leadership Sipo, please check for us questions and comments, Lapo.
Leadership, for now, I think from Awesome, it says, is it a bad thing to do them all to try singing when the balloon, because there are serial entrepreneurs?
There's a raised hand. There's Simo with a raised hand. I see a raised hand, Simo.
Thank you. Afternoon, everybody. I just want to pose a question.
Your voice is not even clear. Your network is bad. I see noise here today. Yes.
Okay, I don't know if I'm audible.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
Okay, thank you very much. And the presentation really hit home. And like I was saying last week, that I'm concerned, just like the previous speaker, about how do we get to impact on the lives of those that are really rejoicing on John Vulgate and all others. I'm also a young person. So my question is, how do, as a young person, do I balance between living life, because it's considered as living life, and also focusing on finding purpose as early as possible? Meaning at an early stage, for me not to get lost in the things that are being done that are not even purposeful, because even when we're not doing such, we are considered as not living. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simo. Excellent contribution. The first thing that I want to let me make two examples, and then I'll come to this issue of morals. When I was a student at Wits University doing my first degree there, the guy that I considered to be the top student in my class was also my friend. And now we would sit with him in the evenings and practice maths and statistics. And then let's say around 10, 10:30, we would go to the whiskey bar and take some whiskeys there. And then when we finished these whiskeys, I would go and sleep, but sometimes he would say he would want to go to Hillbrow and top up. In the process of these top ups, he got a girlfriend who was a shipping queen there in Hillbrow. And then after some time, you know, how we discovered this is because this woman came to look for him on campus. You can imagine when a shipping queen and her friends are shouting your name, looking for you on campus, it just becomes so awkward. Nevertheless, out of that lifestyle that he was overindulging, he got expelled in second year from the university for poor performance. From being a top student to being a lowest performer and expelled from the got expelled around April. By September that year, he was stabbed in a shipping and died. The brightest guy.
Oh, Lord.
Now, what I want to say to you is that one of the ways of being bright, and I learned this lesson, is to know how to stay alive. Because some of these things that you do, saying pillar of life, they are terminal in nature. You end up physically dying and ceasing to exist. Once you are dead, then you cannot fulfill any purpose and any destiny. When HIV and AIDS came, I said to myself, I'm not going to get HIV and AIDS. I think that, in fact, opportunities are going to increase because there's a lot of idiots who are going to die of this. And because people don't know how to control themselves, and they are going to get killed unnecessarily. So I'm not saying I have any special wisdom. You just do what needs to be done to protect yourself from this thing, and you stay away from it because you have a long destiny. So everywhere I go, I make sure that my health and safety is in order for a start, because I cannot fulfill any great purpose if I'm dead or I'm unwell or I'm unfit. So it starts there. Then coming to the morals, part of having a vision, part of having a purpose and a direction in life is that you then say, are there things that are unnecessary in my life that I need to eliminate? Are there things that are essential and beneficial to my purpose that I must include? It makes it easy, even if they think you are a nerd, that you are not particularly entertaining, but if you know that you are in your purpose and it gives you life, what more do you want out of life? Lastly, when we talk about this section on morals, we are talking about people who are going to do the right thing, which is your purpose and calling, using the right methods and do everything for the right reasons. That is morality. Because, for instance, today we have so many court cases of business people, so many court cases of politicians. Some of them say, I stole money to pay bursaries for the children. Stole money from government to finance bursaries for the children. You are doing the right thing, but you are using the wrong methods. You have maybe the right reasons, but you are doing the wrong reasons. You are going to end up in jail. So your career, your purpose, your vision, your calling must be done correctly, using the right methods for the right reason. That's part of morality. I'll stop there.
Yeah. Good response. Osimo, are you answered?
I am. Thank
Okay.
you. Really, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that was a beautiful response myself. Like, as I need to ask a question while I'm still waiting for any hands. We still have some time, at least about 25 minutes that we have. My question is, I would assume that culture that we, and by culture, I don't mean being Xhosa and your Xhosa culture, being Zulu, Pedi, and all that. I would be talking general, the culture that as a child you get introduced into when you are born. The culture that kaya music and everybody will be clapping around. the culture that 6 o'clock early, you can't get valley that we are born in, the culture that allows television in every bedroom, that every child can sit and have their TVs, the upbringing and the social culture in the street. The trajectory is going the opposite way, I would assume, to helping the youth, the young people, including some of us at that time, to finding our purpose in life, because we're going against the grain. It's pushing this way, we're going that way. And even if it naturally it was going to be easy for you to find your purpose, but because of the social attacks that comes with the culture, radio, media, and all that makes it even more difficult for you to grasp and get your purpose quite easily. Sometimes you even get lost in it permanently for good, which I'm not blaming them 100%, that it's only them that does us, not that makes sure that we don't find our purpose. Would you say in the midst of the existence of all that I have mentioned, with there still hope? And I'm thinking of your household which are child-headed, where there's no parents that would instill discipline, children who look at gate and think, oh, this is the thing. And I'm listening to also what Osimo said about being young, you are told you are not living and all that. Because the definition of living, which as a father, as a parent who's living and what needs to benefit them in future. So a child-headed household, a definition of living would be easily translated coming from the streets or everywhere. Would you say there's still hope for many people to find their purpose in life, or we're running against the grain? It's completely difficult. I'm going to give you the opportunity to respond to that while I remind everyone that we're live on More FM radio and live on Facebook. Thank you, Mr. Jagas.
Thank you, sir. Obviously, culture is very, very important. But I would like to remind people of one of the comments that was once made by Dr. Miles Monroe, when he said that some of you watch so much television that you'll never be on it. You know, sometimes I appear on TV, but I think the amount of television that I watch is very small. Very, very small. So the other thing I want to raise here about culture, because culture is something that we don't know. What is culture? Culture is very important, but what is culture? Culture is the accumulated knowledge, technologies, skills that have made your previous generation successful. In other words, for instance, in the Eastern Cape, if a storm is coming, people would go outside and make certain types of noises to chase away the storm. And the belief was that when you do that, the storm will go in another direction and not come towards you. So our ancestors learned that and they do it. There are even medicine, traditional medicines they've learned. Even modern medicine is part of our culture. Computers are part of our culture because those are the things that we've learned over time, how to cope better with our environment and challenges. So those things make up our culture. It is actually a problem when you don't have a culture, because it means that you don't have systems that are going to impart to you good knowledge to be able to then deal with the challenges. So in society, organizations such as SALGC, the churches and other institutions do need to make sure that the correct lessons are being transmitted to all youth, and that youth also transmit the correct information to each other. I'm involved in an organization that specializes in that, which is called peer education, where young people teach each other good practices that are sound for youth and low risk practices, so that people don't die young from drugs, they don't drop out of school, but they are taught by their age mates. So those types of programs are very necessary, because all of us grow in culture. You grow in culture. Culture is very important. Culture is the soil of development. So culture is important, but culture must be developed and it must incorporate good low-risk practices that are high reward. And those who don't have parents and other things, but some of the parents are also useless at times. So we need to cover everybody if we want children to have culture. Listening to the TV and listening to the radio, but not listening to constructive programs, you are going to actually be a disaster. You'll never fulfill your purpose. Let me stop.
Yeah. I think those who had, yeah. I see there's Ulav Lays Lana is saying, arise.
Now that one is an email address.
They
Yeah.
just giving the email address. Yeah, okay. I see there's a question that it says, I think this question came a while back when we were talking about talent and gift. It said, is it better to have two gifts, maybe the salon and marketing at the same time? Because also there's people who are multi or serial entrepreneurs who are successful in both. How would you respond, having came second on the race, but also she having a good answer, and the decision had to be made? Looks like I'm back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yes, okay, sorry, the network keeps kicking me out. Yeah, I think that question came after you mentioned the incident with your daughter. Your story with your daughter, that she was in both different disciplines and she had to choose between the two for her to excel in one. So the question is, what about those serial entrepreneurs? Is it better to choose to take both of them?
Let me put it
Or to have more than one gift?
Yeah, let's deal with the issue of design or architecture of this thing that we're talking about. You see, the activities and the gifts that you have need to be mutually reinforcing towards fulfilling one purpose that you have. Am I making myself clear? So Ray Pires said that all the rivers lead to one ocean. So every gift that you have, you need to tailor make it so that it actually fits into the purpose. So let's get that straight. The second thing is that if we're to use business, we can also use sport. Let's use business for a start. The first problem we have to solve with South Africans and township people especially, our people have not understood that actually when you design a business, ideally it should be a business that is able to, if we are in Soweto, I'm making an example, that it is able to service the people Basemdeni, Ejabulani, and start spreading to all the townships in Soweto. Start going to Natal Spruit and so on, going to Tembisa, going to Guguletu. It must be able to find itself in Kenya, must be able to find itself in Ethiopia, Nigeria, Ghana. It must be able to find itself in Zambia. The problem is that when we say we're starting a business, we're actually not even starting a business. We're trying to find something to buy groceries. And it's not a business, actually. So when somebody is successful in business, a person from the township especially, it's because they can buy some sort of a car and buy some nice groceries and nice clothes. That is not a business. That is not a business. So because it is not a business, You can dabble with so many of these small fires that little Mickey Mouse things that you are doing. That's one other problem. The other issue, of course, is that if you look at other businesses that are diversified, like Bidvest, big businesses that are diversified into different industries, you will find that the main business there is actually not the individual business. They are more into funding businesses. They are investors. They are not operators of business. So that's a different ballgame altogether. They're investing in these businesses. They are not running them. So you need to know where exactly do you fit in. Are you having capital that you are just investing in businesses which have got their own entrepreneurs to run, and then you get financial rewards for investing? Or are you actually an operator? If you are running Pick n Pay, which has got branches all over Southern Africa, if you are not focused on it, you are going to make it to go back. That's as simple as
that. No, this is hectic. Yeah. Leadership, I think in the absence of hands, I'm going to just give it a few more minutes. If there's no hand coming up, I will close. I've just had an announcement from More FM, More Life, Bupilo Bobungata, More Life FM. They will be going away now because there's a program that's starting now at 6, and we are very grateful for them for always being here available to broadcast these shows for us to help the nation. Very grateful. So if there's no hand that's coming up, I'll give you Google Leadership to just give us, in wrapping it up nicely for us, your message and everything. What will be your parting message?
I think if there was a parting message, it would be this.
Yeah.
Don't wait for a prophet to prophesy over you to tell you about your purpose. Allow yourself, switch off that music, switch off that television, apply your mind. Just be quiet for a period of about 6 months or so and start thinking about what is it that you want to do. Start refining. And from there, do that process every year and clean up so that your life has got a focus. 2, if you have a focus that you are looking at, what is my plan to get that focus achieved? What is my systematic development to get that focus achieved? And lastly, commit. Commit. There is nobody who succeeds in anything by quitting. Commit. And if I were to use a Bible verse says, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. As people of Africa, all over Africa, we need to start understanding that you have a right to open a business in Johannesburg. It can have a branch in Addis Ababa. It can have a branch in Tokyo. It can have a branch in New York. It can have a branch in London. It can have branches all over the world. Because the Bible tells, fill the earth, be fruitful and multiply. I'll stop there, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, leadership, for always responding with oomph. We have taken a lot from this. Personally, listeners on More FM, More Life FM, I'm sure they've also taken a lot from this. Your leadership, the presentation that we have, we'll share it with those that have shared their details with us. Thank you, Ngokeliam, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you to everybody. May God bless each one of you. Success to you all. Thank you.
May God bless you too. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much for attending.